Garage settings is a centralized area to manage the data and some of the activities related to items in your collection. So to access My Garage settings, you'll go ahead and expand My Garage and you'll click on Garage Settings. Now here you'll see a series of tabs at the very top, and of course you can select those tabs to navigate directly to that particular area. So by default you'll be delivered to Sharing, and this is really a directory of all of the secure share links that you've generated from items in your collection. Now, as a quick reminder, there's 3 ways to share data. You can create a general share, which allows you to configure the information that will be available in that share. So you can turn on and off data. You can also choose to make it password protected if you want heightened security in order to access that share link. So that's a general share, and that's really useful if you're sharing with, say, maybe an insurance broker or maybe a restoration provider. It's just a way to send an individual access to your item so they can view the data that you configure. Now, the next type of share is called a public garage share. And this is the ability for you to choose items that you want to display on your public profile in your digital garage. This is a great way to showcase your items to other RumbleSeat users. The third and final way to share content is you can share with a car club registry. So if you have a vehicle and you want to include it in a car club that you're a member of, you can choose to hand over that information to the club administration so they can then publish it in the registry. So let's take a further look at the information that displays here in sharing. Of course, you see the share name and the item that's associated with. You can see whether a password was configured. And here you can click the little closed eye icon to see the password. You can also copy the password directly to your clipboard for ease of access. You'll see the type of share. You'll see the date that it was created on. You'll see a direct link to the share, and you can click View to view that information, or you can copy the link directly to your clipboard. Then you have the ability to control the access. So if you click Revoke Access, that will then remove the capabilities for others to access your share. And then you can click Edit if you want to make modifications to your share. So this is, again, a useful way to see all of the historical data related to shares and to edit and manage those shares. Also point out in some of these columns, you'll notice a little up-down arrow, so you can sort and filter these if that's a handy way to visualize your data. All right, let's go to the next tab, which is Transfers. This is where you manage transfers, and you can accept or you can reject a transfer. Now, a transfer is a feature inside of your collection where you can choose to hand over all of the information about your item that you've curated inside of your account. That's really useful if you're selling your item or your vehicle in the RumbleSeat marketplace. Optionally, you can choose to transfer that information to a current RumbleSeat user or even an external user. And of course, they would be prompted to create a RumbleSeat account in order to get access to that content. And really what happens when you transfer and the other party accepts is it moves all that data directly into their garage. So again, it's a really easy way to hand off information to a new owner. All right, let's go to Custom Attribute. Now, custom attributes are the ability for you to create custom data fields that you'll use to add data to your items in your garage. So of course, RumbleSeat has a huge array of default attributes that you can use to configure and really document information about your items. However, for specialized items, attributes might be missing. So this is the ability for you to add a custom attribute. So you can give it a name and a description, and then that data field will be available for your use in your collection as you're managing information about your items. So from here, you can see really a directory of all of the custom attributes you've created. You can edit the attribute and you can delete the attribute. Now I want to point out that as you're building or editing the data in an item in your collection, you can actually add custom attributes directly from the item. You don't have to come here. This is really a place to globally manage, edit, and delete and visualize all of the attributes you've created across your collection. Next is service providers. This is your ability to add service providers. So you can add a name and a description. And this is your sort of like Rolodex of different service providers, restoration providers that you use for the items in your collection. So again, you can build a new service provider or select a service provider when you're in the service and restoration workspace. So you can create those directly from an item, or again, you can come here and build one out. And just like custom attributes, here you can edit and you can delete. Now the last tab here is Garage Managers. Now a Garage Manager is again someone that you designate to access items in your collection. So let's say you want to give direct access to, maybe it's a curator, or maybe somebody on your team or staff, like a mechanic, and you want them to be able to input and interact with your items in your collection. So you can effectively add a garage manager, and that is putting in their name, their email address. You can choose access, so you can grant them access to all of your collection, or you can grant them access to specific items, and then you can put a personal message, maybe describe why you're giving them access, maybe what actions you want them to perform. So really, this is a safe and secure way to grant a person access to your collection, where they can edit and interact with items in your collection on your behalf. Conversely, somebody can invite you as a garage manager so you can access items in your garage. Now, of course, once you add garage items, you can see who has access to what. You can click the stacked menu to delete. You can remove access if you wish. So it's a great way to, again, have an understanding of, the garage managers you've invited, and then, of course, people that have granted you access to their collection. Now, I want to point out quickly, with a garage manager permission, when you go to your collection, when you go to filter and sort, if you want to see the items that you have access to as a garage manager, then you'll go to the filters here. At the very bottom, it says Garage Manager, View Shared Items. If you make that selection, you can then choose in the drop-down what collections you want to see from whoever's invited you as a garage manager, and that will show you the items you have access to, and then you're free to click and edit and access those items. So that's how you, as a garage manager, or somebody that is a garage manager, can then see items and interact with them. So it doesn't require any sort of special login or any special permissions. If you're a garage manager, you can filter and see the items by user to then conveniently access. So again, this has been a review of the garage settings. As a quick reminder, garage settings is really a global way to edit and access and manage all the different data and functions that happen in your collection. So when you get to this workspace, just pay attention to the different tabs at the top here, and then select the appropriate tab and take full advantage of the functionality that's available here. Now, if you have any questions about this or any of the other functions in RumbleSeat, make sure to reach out to our support team, and you can reach them via email, support@rumbleseat.com.